crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Hey guys, Bix Weir, roadtour.com. How much money has been created since the first run-up after we went off the gold standard and the silver standard? How much money has been created since then? Quadrillions, quintillions, infinity money, as I have postulated. See, here's the deal with silver and manipulation and conspiracies. You don't even have to go there with silver conspiracies. You don't even have to go there with manipulation. The amount of money created every day now, all around the world in fiat money, can be an understandable reason why silver and gold should spike to infinity. There are no bars hold on the amount of cash that is floating out there. It's created out of thin air. Electronic blips called money was created in the 1960s and 70s by Alan Greenspan when he invented the first computer programming trading programs and banking ledgers. He blames himself for Y2K because he was one of the first guys doing it. Why do you think Alan Greenspan, the biggest gold bug in the world, got into power in 1987? He actually got into power in 1971 when Arthur Burns said, "Hey, you kid." Arthur Burns was the head of the Fed, and Alan Greenspan was his flunky. He said, "Hey, you kid, you play around with those computer things with your buddy John Kemeny, who invented basic computing. Why don't you go as the head of the CEA, the Council of Economic Advisors, for Gerald Ford and implement computer trading rigging models and create an electronic financial system so we can go off the gold standard? Why don't you go do that, Alan Greenspan?" Alan Greenspan, "Okay, I'll do it." And now money is just computer blips, a little click of a mouse. Steve Mnuchin was head of computer market trading, rigging at Goldman Sachs. Why do you think he's head of the Treasury now? So silver at $21 is ridiculous. Is so low, it is embarrassing, and you don't even have to count on the conspiracy angle that JP Morgan's been rigging it, or the banks are going to keep it under control. All you have to do is look at the ability to create money out of thin air. This is from the Private Road Fed bailouts as of yesterday. $5.2 trillion have been given to the banks to keep them afloat since September 11, 2019, when the attack came down. September 11, 2019, it will probably culminate on September 11, 2000. September 11th is a big day. That's what Ruda wrote in the sand. 11 plus 9, or 9/11. Ruda is a character from a comic book from the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. That is exactly what was put in the new comic book, the revised version from the 1982 version. It's all about 9/11, getting those people who did 9/11, who did that to us. It wasn't those 19 hijackers. I hope everybody knows that by now. It is payback time. The bankers are literally printing money so heavily, 5.2 trillion in, what is that, 8 months? 10 months? Since September 11th. $5.2 trillion. No, Congress hasn't approved any of it. In 2008, Hank Paulson had to go to Congress to get $700 billion, but Jerome Powell, for some reason, he's allowed to give the banks $5.2 trillion and buy all their toxic assets. This is insane. And this is how it ends. It ends with gold and silver spiking to the moon, to infinity. And they are going to infinity. And it's not the problem with gold and silver. It's the problem with the other thing that is valued in. Fiat money that can be created with a click of a mouse. What's the difference between $100 billion and $1 trillion? One little tiny computer zero. Between $100 billion and $100 trillion, and $1 trillion. Add one little computer click of a zero. Dots and pixels. And you've got $1 trillion. Why don't people just print as much as they can and tell the world about it? Because you get hyperinflation, and it shows up in the alternatives to fiat money. Gold, silver, cryptos. Now, obviously, the question, well, I have gold and silver. Why do you have any gold? any gold at all. There's no reason to have any gold. Look at the gold reserves. Gold is the most heavily held secret on planet Earth. There's not 200,000 tons of gold. There's millions of tons of gold. Millions of tons of gold. I hope everybody understands that. The gold bugs don't get it. Nobody gets it. It's insane. Some people do. Yes. Jekyll Island was all about the gold they found in the Grand Canyon. Billions and billions and billions of ounces. Woodrow Wilson locked up the Grand Canyon and said, nobody ever can go in there and mine that gold. We're saving it. We're gonna use paper, and then they use electronic money until the end. Until everybody loses confidence in the system. Then we'll go into the Grand Canyon, we'll go to Chocolate Mountain and pull out billions and billions and billions of ounces of gold and use it as a gold standard. Now we got cryptos, who knows what's going to happen. But the U.S. used to have 21,000 tons out of millions of tons. That's nothing, but they're the largest holder in the world, supposedly. Now, all this gold is probably rehypothecated, meaning swapped out, leased out, arrangements with other central banks, ridiculous. But we're at like 8,000 tons. And the U.S. government, here's my take on the U.S. government. Right now we have $1.8 trillion in cash after taxes and after all the money. Steve Mnuchin and Trump are going to allocate that. Why not make the United States the richest country in the world? Buy all the remaining silver. Take it from JP Morgan. Take it from anywhere you can. Spend $1.8 trillion on silver. And then go and cash swap all your gold for silver. If you really want to be a successful country and make a hell of a lot of money, go do that. Will they do it? I don't know. The U.S. probably won't. They want to maintain the status quo. China, all our enemies would do it in a second. Hey, Russia. Hey, China. Although I don't think they're ultimately behind the scenes, they're not our enemy. Well, why don't you go swap your gold for silver? Silver's obviously a better investment than gold. If you're saying, well, we can't get our hands on it, of course you can't get your hands on it. But why is it still priced at $20? Gold and silver are going to 1-to-1 ratio. 1-to-1. Mark my words. So yeah, Mnuchin could take the 1.8 trillion. Why didn't we spend the 5.2 trillion we've given to the banks in the last few months and buy silver with it? We'd be the richest country in the world. Finally, Mexico and South America, Peru, Argentina, all those countries have stopped exporting silver. Finally. They blame COVID. Any country that exports gold or silver is literally, the people who are approving those exports should be tried for treason. That's how important gold and silver are. Especially right now, as crap like this is going on, 5.2 trillion. Treasury has 1.8 trillion just because. Those are all complete computer blips. It means nothing. It means zero other than the whole system's about to fall apart. And see this? This is a counterfeit bill. Yes, it was printed. It was a silver certificate from 1957. Yes, it was printed by the U.S. Mint. Yes, it says right up here. Here's the counterfeit part. This certifies that there is on deposit in the Treasury of the United States of America $1 in silver. On deposit in the Treasury. Now, in 1957, was there any silver on deposit in the Treasury? Yes. That's what they told us. There's 3 billion ounces of silver on deposit in the Treasury from the 1940s and 50s to back the silver certificates. Is it true? No. It is a lie, as I outlined in my analysis of the Y-12 facility at Oak Ridge, Tennessee, the making of the first atomic bomb. They had to borrow all 3 billion ounces. 3 billion ounces of silver to make this facility, to make these magnets that could enrich uranium for the first atomic bomb. Now they said, oh no, we shut down that facility and melted all the silver back into bars and stuck it in the U.S. Treasury. That is not true, as a matter of fact. It was a lie. They didn't do that until the 1990s. So this certificate right here is fake. There is no silver on deposit at the time. And it was in a book by General Leslie Groves, who was in charge of the Manhattan Project, a book called Now It Can Be Told. They told a little too many secrets, including this. They needed copper. They said they needed copper. They didn't. They needed silver. The administration decided the need for copper should be reduced by substituting it for silver borrowed from the U.S. Treasury. Colonel Marshall thereupon called the Secretary of the Treasury, Daniel Bell. Mr. Bell said he might be able to make some 4,700 tons of free silver together with 47,000 tons together with 39,000 tons, which could be released from backup silver certificates if Congress authorized it through the appropriate legislation. 2.75 billion ounces. And this was the B facility was even bigger than the Y12 facility. And listen to this. This is page 107, 108. Under the terms of the final agreement, the silver required by the project was to be withdrawn from the West Point Depository 6 months after the end of war. An equal amount of silver would be returned to the Treasury, which did not happen. It was further agreed that no information, listen to this, this is your government, Americans. It was further agreed that no information would be given to the press on the removal of the silver, and the Treasury would continue to carry it on their daily balance sheet. Page 109. Many of the precautions we took were aimed at primarily concealing our interest in silver. There's the original, one of the original old school balance sheets. Remember, there was no computers back then. There it is, all those silver ounces going away. All the way to Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Go to roadtoroot.com, do a search for Manhattan Project. You'll learn everything you need to know. This is a phony certificate. This is a lie from the American government to the people of the world, saying this certifies that there is on deposit in the Treasury you have a silver certificate. $1 worth of silver. What is $1 worth of silver? It is defined in the 1870 Currency Act or something like that. Silver Dollar Act. It's an amount of grains of fine silver. It's a fraud. $1 in silver payable to the bearer on demand. Where was the silver? It was stuck in a facility making enriched uranium from the 1940s, early 1940s, late 1930s, all the way up to the 1990s when they tore down the facility and then shoved all this physical silver into the market between 1994 and 1998. Massive amounts of exports. I analyzed the whole thing. That's where all the silver's come from. Now it's gone. All that silver's gone. And the manipulation has been going on and on and on and on. And now it's breaking. We are a long way from done in silver. Probably a couple years out before silver really hits a true fair market value, because they're going to try to hang on to their skin for as long as possible. But they can't do it at $20 because people like Eric Sprott are going to go in and take all the silver at those cheap prices. Get your hands on physical silver. If you don't have a dealer, send an email to Andy Scheckman, andy@milesfranklin.com, milesfranklin.com. He will take care of Road to Root customers. This is insane. This should have never been going on for 170 years with the Pilgrim Society and all those people that try to rig the price of silver lower. It's a con on humanity. It is time to, all the truths are coming out now, and this is going to be the biggest one. That silver has been suppressed for 170 years. Yes, I do believe at some point in the craziness, we will hit 1-to-1 silver to gold ratio, and it's not going to be at 1,842 like gold is right now. Probably more like 5,000 gold, 5,000 silver. There's 6 billion of each above ground, but silver's necessary. Gold's not necessary. Silver's necessary everywhere in a high-tech future. That's what I got for you. It's really exciting and it's fun. Get your hands on some silver. Remember, though, they can click a mouse and make the price disappear. I do expect the comics to shut down before this is all over. And then who knows what happens. Chaos. CHAOS. Hang tough, my friends. This is Bix Weir. RoadToRoot.com. I'll talk to you later.